RWBY is definitely a complete and total train wreck, but I have to at least give props. Hazel, you are a beast, and you are great. But yeah, Yabby Smash. No, you suck, especially you Yang. You are the absolute epitome of worst. Oh my dear God. Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. RWBY Volume 8, Chapter 9. You know, I'll at least say this. It did some, emphasis on the word some, it did some favors in terms of Hazel for his character at least. Still could have been more improvements there. And Team Yabby Smash have gone to proving that they do one thing. Be useless, as always. So, looking at this chapter at the beginning, you have the war still going on, which I thought it was kind of cringe with the animation when they're jumping up from the trenches. I thought that looked absolutely awful. Of course, you have the zoom in on all of it, but like when you're watching the soldiers jump up, it just looks terrible. And then, of course, you have all the soldier corpses, because this strategy was terrible from the start. I'm serious. It goes to show that the writers have no idea what military strategy is or how war even works. Like they're completely brainless. But nobody's surprised at that knowledge. And of course, this is a Yabby focused episode. Yay. Yeah, you can tell I'm really excited to talk about that part. So, of course, you have Team Yabby, who infiltrates the whale. It seemed like there was no issue with that at all. Just got in there scot-free. Everybody else was just dying outside, though. So, that happened. And while this is going on, you find out that Ren, apparently now with his semblance evolution, he's able to just basically detect emotions? Like, what? So, apparently, with Fox's telekinetic semblance, he's able to just detect where people are. So, apparently, why not allow Ren to be able to do this, too, with his emotional connection to others? This is pretty bad. I really don't like that. And then Jean, yet again, the inconsistency of this character in his aura. Like, gotta love how last volume his semblance was established to basically be like an infinite battery, how he can just self-recharge that aura. And now here he is, like twice now. Once whenever they were in the Arctic freezing their asses off, he's losing his aura despite the fact that he's like a charge for them. And then the next thing you know, here he is just having his aura break. It's pathetic. Then you have the whole thing with just the Aesops with Winter. And then, of course, Team Funky apparently has been enlisted in this war. So they got to do something with them, right? Because everybody knows they've done nothing with them except for made one cameo appearance last volume. That's it. And when you see the Aesops, whenever they're just teaming up together, I did not care for this at all. Like, I didn't care. It just didn't really show much to me. It's just like, oh, look, a punch. Woo. Like, the team combination to me is nothing. But I still wonder, why are they sending more troops on the ground? Why don't they just use the gunships? Shoot down the Grim. Are you kidding me? It's not that hard. Just lay waste to these Grim. But I will at least say this. Winter has been a character that I have thoroughly enjoyed. Because, the one thing that I have actually at least enjoyed about this volume, despite the fact that this volume has been trash, but I will at least say, Willow, Whitley, and Winter have been three positives I can at least take away from this volume, because they were good. They have been good. The Schnee family, excluding Weiss, has actually been pretty enjoyable, and Winter as well within this, because what I like about this scene with Winter is that it shows about her understanding of war, her understanding of sacrifice, and that she's willing to sacrifice it all to ensure the safety of the others. Like, I'll at least give Winter that. That's something I do like about her character. But her conversation with Marrow is so bad, because Marrow's an idiot. It's not Winter that's the problem, it's Marrow. Because first off, Marrow goes, "But these are children, no, no!" Like, really? But no, here was the question of the episode right here, where he asked, "Well, what would your sister do?" Asking what Weiss would do. Weiss would sit around while the catastrophe's happening and drink tea. Because she is going to just let the world collapse along with Team RWBY. Just drinking tea. Because that's What she would do. That's what she did do. That's what she did do until the attack on the Schnee Manor. Are you? And then when it comes to kids being on the battlefield, do the writers not understand that war has drafts sometimes? That, I don't know, 18-year-olds have been drafted into war before? I mean, do the writers not understand that? I'm just saying. And these are also huntsmen and huntresses in training. Are you kidding me? Now, leaving them like within the soldier uniforms and them not wearing helmets is kind of dumb, but I guess they wanted to make them do something. Also, whenever you have Neon rolling around on her skates, I mean, seeing how she could just like trip over a rock, I wonder what kind of skates they implemented for her shoes there, like the wheels. I mean, if they had like a hoverboard or something like hover skates, that could work for her probably. But at least Winter understands that, she has to put her emotions aside and that it is her responsibility to see everything through. Like I said, this is where I give Winter props because Winter clearly understands what must be done and that she has to put her emotions aside during this time of war. So, in terms of the writing for Winter's character here, I'll at least give it credit there. But that's where the praise stops because it only goes downhill from here. So, looking at Oscar, Oscar gets picked up by Hazel because, he's going to take him to the relic. But Oscar does mention that using more magic means that it's going to be, that much faster for him to merge with the Ozpin. So I guess it makes sense why he's avoided using magic, but at the same time, it's kind of whatever. And then, of course, the relic's just in a room that's not even guarded. Like, anybody could just walk in there, no big deal. Like, what the hell are you doing, Salem? Why is there not a seer Grim in front of the door? You would imagine there would be to protect this thing, or like another Grim, for example. Guess not. So much for the relic being important. And so, whenever Hazel goes in there with Oscar, that's when Emerald shows up. Yep. Just walks in there. Just, no, everything's fine. No, we're good. Apparently, she can just walk in there, no issue. Are you kidding me? And so, to prove that Oscar's been telling the truth the whole time, he summons Jen, and apparently Jen is not mad this time. Unlike she was with RWBY, where RWBY didn't have a question. Jen's just actually, mad at RWBY. But she's not mad at Oscar. Apparently, she likes an old man in a young boy's body. That sounds wrong in so many areas. But anyways, so this is actually even enough for Hazel to just be like, yeah, sure, you know what? I'm on your team now. Like, that's enough. Like, I mean, I get that Oscar's telling you the truth and you're seeing that, but like, that's enough. You'd imagine Hazel would want to ask a question to confirm this as well, to just make sure that the truth's being told here. Guess not. Guess Jen's enough, and he just decides to join everybody because, he can just read everybody's emotions because everybody's scared. So, hey, you know what? We're all scared together, right? I mean, oh my God. But yeah, I guess that works. And then as they leave the room, Neo is there because apparently Neo can now be a chameleon. No, I'm serious. Like, when it comes to this idea, I love Neo, and everybody knows this. Everybody knows I love her character, but my God, I don't like this idea. Like, I like the idea of Neo being able to transform and disguise herself, but I don't like the idea of her being able to just merge into the wall. Like, oh, look, Neo could be here listening right now on the wall, and it's just like, oh boy. I think it was a lot more fun when it was a guessing game of like, oh, could she be this character? Could she be that character? It's better than like, oh, look, is she on this wall or is she on that wall? Is she on the ceiling? Is she in the window? Is she the window? Her being disguised was much better because then it'd be like, Kono Nioda! I mean, that would be so much better because, like, I love the disguises that Neo had, and it just kind of showed to her flair as a character in terms of, like, what she could come with in terms of designs for outfits, too. I liked that a lot better. It kind of showed more to her character, but, taking that away and just kind of, doing this instead, yeah, I'm not a fan, as much as I love Neo. And I want to see good things for Neo, well, this to me was not a good thing. Like, I did not like this. I was not particularly a fan of this. But everybody knows why Neo was in there. She stole the lamp. Everybody knows this. And she's going to obviously give the lamp to Cinder. Like, nobody didn't see this coming. Like, there's no possible way anybody did not see this coming. I mean, it is way too obvious of a plot point. We all know Cinder's going to ask whatever question she's going to ask. So, clearly obvious that this is going to happen. No shock there. Then, of course, Team Yabby, because we gotta go back to them. Seriously, the whole, like, oh man, we gotta stop making jokes, because apparently Ren is no more emo wannabe rip-off Sasuke Ren anymore. He's apparently fine. And they have this whole, like, thing about how Jean is the best. Jean is fearless. He's a good leader. He's strong. He's smart. He's clever. Like, oh my dear God, could you stroke Jean's ego any further? Like, I get it. They're doing this because he's Miles' self-insert. Because, Miles thinks he's the best person in the world. Let me tell you what John really is. A soy boy, limp dick, beta cuck. Just like Miles Luna is. But, so, Jean obviously runs back because he's afraid. Because, he runs into Emerald and what supposedly is Hazel, which really isn't Hazel. Obviously it's Oscar. But, Oscar's the one who found them. And so while they finally have been reunited, well, that ends very shortly because then you have Salem enter the fray because somebody's taken the lamp. And Salem has just completely gone off her rocker because the lamp is gone. Kind of funny that she's so worried about the lamp, and yet, she wasn't worried about the other relic. Kind of hilarious how that works. Yeah. Kind of funny that she just, like, goes berserk, but then it's like when Cinder was trying to be reasonable, get the maiden powers from Penny, then, don't go for that relic, though. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that is one of the most ridiculous things ever. And then they try to make Salem fearsome here, and that's so much for that working. Didn't really work. Not at all. And she looks at Emerald and at Oscar. Emerald tries to run away, and she goes all Mr. Fantastic, apparently, because she's able to just stretch those arms out like she's Mr. Fantastic. And just likes to grab people, apparently, especially Oscar. And this whole frame right here, like this image, they actually did straighten up a little bit from the trailer, because while the thumb is still messed up, and so are the fingers, kinda, it's not as bad as it originally looked like, so I noticed that they did clean that up a little bit. Still doesn't look that great, though. But then everybody starts to fight, and Yang goes to show how useless she is in a fight, because she thinks she's good. And, well, guess what? She puts all the nukes on Salem, and then, boom. They all explode on Salem. And here's the thing. While this damages Salem, this would be good if this was actually another character and they were actually able to kill said other character with an actual projectile. Because when it comes to, like, guns in RWBY, they're just terrible. Like, the guns in RWBY are awful. Had Salem been able to die here, okay, this would have been a good moment for the guns in RWBY, but they never do anything. Yet again, this proves the point that it's Salem, therefore they're going to do something as opposed to another character they're never going to do anything like this to ever. So, there's that. Unless it's Grimm, because that's Grimm. They're fodder, so they'll never do that to another character. And Salem constantly goes with her Ana Ana look, and then you have Yang, who, for the love of God, you want to talk about one of the most frustrating parts in this entire chapter is Yang. Her entire team frustrates me. I'm going to get into that in a moment. But Yang herself, whenever she talks to Salem here, she's like, you've taken everything from me. And then she just goes on about, you took my mom, Summer. Yeah, no. She says that Summer is her mom. Yeah, because you've cared so much about Summer. Thank God Salem shut her mouth. Oh, man, have I been so tired of Yang. Finally, somebody is sensible. And I love the response Salem has to Yang when she says, you've taken everything from me. Whenever Salem's just like, what have I taken from you? Because she hasn't taken a single thing from her. That's the thing. She has not taken one thing from Yang. Summer chose to go on that mission. She didn't have to. That was her choice. Raven chose to leave. She didn't have to leave. She chose to leave. Salem didn't just go to their front door and be like, all right, come on, Summer, we're going to kill you. Okay, Raven, we're going to move you somewhere else. Like, are you kidding me? Like, seriously, Salem didn't make them do it. They chose it themselves. Besides, Summer, okay, Summer, the mother that Yang has, right? The mom. Yeah, I love how that's so important when who has Yang tried to discover the most about? All right, yeah, it was definitely Summer in Volume 4, right? Yeah, it was so Summer. This is RWBY's thing, okay? Summer has not been of any importance to Yang. Like, the only time that we've ever heard Yang really talk about Summer was in the backstory to Blake. Aside from that, there's been no connection there. It's been more RWBY's thing than it has Yang. So now Yang's just trying to take RWBY's mom. And, back in the yellow trailer, yeah, Yang was definitely looking for Summer. Yeah, that's the one she wanted information on. That's the one she was learning about. Oh, yeah, it wasn't Raven. Oh, yeah. Yeah, are you kidding me? Like, seriously, she just disowned her own mother. Like, it's like at this point, like, just Yang just forgot about her mom. It's like the writers just want to forget Raven. They just want to forget the events of Volume 5 as hard as possible, to the point where it's like, yeah, Raven is just non-existent. Like, it's at this point I'm starting to think that they look at Raven as the bane of their existence. When in reality, it was all of Volume 5 that was terrible. I mean, the writing, the animation, it's garbage, and that's the thing. I think they're just taking it out on Raven. That's the way they're doing it with the line of Yang right here. And seriously, yeah, Yang looking real good, just getting completely owned by Salem. Oh yeah, real smart. God, I hate Yang. But to me, this scene with Yang saying Summer was her mom. Oh my lord. Like, who was she chasing after this entire time? She was chasing after Raven. It was not Summer. Oh god, that is just so bad. That just makes me hate Yang even more. It really does. And then, yeah, Jean's so good. He's such a good leader. Oh man, yeah, on the ground, just getting completely owned. Yeah, real good. See, here's the funny thing. If you were to think about this, if you were to just eliminate Team Yabby from this entire equation, nothing would have changed. Like, if you think about this entire chapter, if you just took out that entire team and you just had Oscar, Emerald, and Hazel, nothing would have made a difference. Because Team Yabby does nothing. Like, look, you have Hazel. He's the one who takes Oscar out. You have Emerald, who disguises Oscar as Hazel. Of course, you have Neo, who takes the relic. I mean, like, Yang's team does nothing. You remove them from the equation and nothing changes. I'm not even kidding. Nothing changes. That's how bad it is. That's how useless they were. Nothing changes. And that's really pathetic when you think about it, because honestly, nothing changes if they weren't there. Not a single thing. Everything would just have played out just without them there. And Hazel then betrays Salem. So this whole scene right here, like, animation-wise, I want to talk about this animation-wise first. Okay, first off, you see Salem get punched. Okay. Like, this was so cringe with the slow motion here. And just look at her legs. It's just like one big just length, like one big line, instead of like one leg maybe going one way and the other way. Like, look at this. Just flying in the air, her legs just lean back. It's like she has no legs, or at least just one leg instead of two, and she just kind of like floats around. Like, it's really bad. Also, her running was kind of terrible too. But like, Hazel himself also, another thing I want to bring up here, it's like he changes to like this whole like, Gretchen would want me to do this, and like he goes from Gretchen would want me to beat the crap out of and hate Ozpin with a red hot passion, to just like this whole, yeah, you know what, I should just work with you because that's what Gretchen would want. Gretchen wants me to work with you. The one concept that this show is terrified of is backstories. And had they actually gotten into a backstory teaching us more about Gretchen, maybe we'd have more of an understanding of things. But, like, we don't have that. And I really don't like that, yet again, this show goes more with tell and not show, because that's the problem. And the whole thing with, like, Emerald and Hazel, that's another thing I want to bring up, is, like, how he wants to help her, right? Like, I feel like they could have done more with their characters. I feel like they could have done more with Hazel in general, just fleshed him out more as a character, just kind of like maybe have the guy have an internal struggle with himself. Maybe think that what he's doing is wrong, like a moral struggle here. Maybe thinking that maybe Salem is wrong all along, maybe Ozpin was right, something of that sort. Or maybe, not Ozpin, but rather the opposing side is right and Salem is wrong. I mean, I think that would have been a lot better, but that didn't happen. Of course, a fight commences, and I'm going to say this, magic-based fights are just not good in RWBY. I do not like them personally. I don't find them very interesting. While Hazel was a badass, don't get me wrong, it's just this fight was not good. Like, it was better than Blake versus the Grim and Weiss versus the Hound. Like, yeah, way better than last week's, but like, this was still not good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think really many people are as thrilled for magic based fights because there's just not much to them other than like magic being shot at each other, so it's not really that interesting. I mean, seeing Hazel, go all boxer mode and just pound the crap out of Salem, I mean, that was cool. I mean, I'll admit that, like just her brains going all over the pavement. I mean, that was definitely something. But like, in terms of like the fight overall, it's not really that good. And Salem. Okay, so let me say this about Salem real fast. My issue with Salem is she has no unique style to herself in terms of combat. I don't like that. I mean, using the Grim arms to extend and grab Hazel, it's not like it's anything really too different from the Grim arms she used to grab him and pull him to the ground back in Volume 6. And this weird thing that she always does with her arms, like trying to be, I guess, menacing, it just doesn't work. Like, this is not a style, this is just a pose. It's like, they were trying to do a JoJo pose, but it failed miserably. And it just doesn't work. I mean, it really doesn't. And I really kind of felt like Salem was very underwhelming in terms of power. Because, like, had she actually been immortal, right? Had she still been immortal instead of being immortal, Hazel would have kicked the shit out of her. Like, she would have been dead multiple times over. Like, it would not have been hard for her to actually die. Like, Salem, while they tried to bring her up as this overpowered character, like, God, it was very, very, very underwhelming. Like, that's something that's very disappointing. But, to tell you the truth, I'm not really shocked because, my just levels of, like, expectations are just dead when it comes to this. Like, that's the thing. And I love how Jean's just all like, oh yeah, everybody, run away. Yep, run away. Let's leave Oscar. Yeah. Like, really? You coward. Like, oh, he's so bad. They're all, like I said, Team Yabby, if they were not there, it wouldn't matter. Emerald, on the other hand, also runs with them. So I guess this is going to be like Emerald's redemption, because we've seen her be morally conflicted for like a while now. Of course, still being loyal to Cinder. But the thing of it is that I wonder how that's going to play out. Because at this point, Emerald, they may redeem her, possibly. Wouldn't be surprised. But like, her just immediately joining, the protagonist, I'm not really particularly a fan of that, but I guess staying around with Salem would have gotten her killed. This scene also, where you see Oscar, it was animated poorly because, like, if you go back and watch the episode, you'll know what I'm talking about, where Jean just disappears for a moment. Like, you see Oscar talking to Jean, and then, like, the next scene, like, Jean is gone, and Oscar's just standing there. Like, Jean just ceased to exist. Oh my dear God, would I love that if that actually happened. But, like, he just ceases to exist for a moment. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's really poorly done. And I just don't get how you missed this. You would think you would go over that thoroughly to ensure that wouldn't be missed, but apparently it was. Oh, also, side note, Salem apparently knows how to use Shadow Ball, so she's part Pokemon now. And Hazel grabs Salem, and it seems as if there was this plan to use this. It's like Hazel knew that Oscar could use this attack to do whatever's going to happen, right? Like, it looks like a beam that could obliterate things. And of course, it's like the shield that he's used ever since all the way back in Volume 3 that he used again in Volume 7. But, it's like Hazel knew this. It's like they planned this, but there was no way that they could have ever possibly planned this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, would have been better if we had a moment where Hazel and Oscar talked about this, and then Hazel could have known, but there's no way that Hazel could have known that Oscar could have done this. So that makes no sense to me. And of course, like, this is supposed to be one of those potential self-sacrifice moments. Now, we don't know because it was left on a cliffhanger. So Hazel might be dead, he might be alive, we have no idea. But the thing of it is that there's so many problems I just have with Hazel because it's rushed. Like, I like Hazel, don't get me wrong, but the problem here is just like, it feels like it was so rushed. There could have been a backstory, but, why have a backstory when you can tell instead of show, am I right? Because it seems like the concept of backstory is something that terrifies the writers, which makes perfect sense if you look at Cinder's backstory. But, I mean, a backstory would have at least helped us also understand Gretchen, because we've never seen that character. I mean, We just know that she's dead. That's it. Like, we don't know anything about the character herself, just what Hazel has said. So how are we supposed to know what she wants when we've never seen the character, or we've never been told directly by her character, who has never been in the series, what she wants? Like, see what I mean? But looking at this chapter as a whole, I mean, it's not great. It's not the worst, but it's still pretty bad. Like, there's a lot of problems with this chapter. But, like, when it comes to the good, I mean, Winter was definitely one of the highlights. To a degree, there were some highlights with Hazel's character. Like I said, Salem had her moment telling Yang, the truth, which was great, because Salem never took anything from Yang. It was the choices that both Summer and Raven made. And then, of course, that led to Summer's life being taken because she chose that. That's what I'm talking about. Like, a lot of people may not see it that way, but it came down to choice. It's not that Summer or Raven had to leave. They chose to leave. There's a complete difference. And Yang is just awful. But this whole entire chapter, it goes to prove you never even had to have Yang's team there at all. Team Yabby never had to be there in the first place. Like, they were just added weight that did nothing. Like, nothing for this chapter at all whatsoever. The confrontation between Yang and Salem means nothing, because it doesn't add anything at all. Like, nada. And that's pretty terrible when you don't add anything to that. Like, that, there was no reason for any of that, other than Salem being the smart one in that situation. But in terms of fighting style, at least, Hazel looks like a brawler. I liked that. But Salem just doesn't have her own unique style, which I think is a problem, because you would imagine that she would have one, and instead does not have one, and it's very disappointing to me. I mean, hell, even Cinder has her own style. Despite what people feel about Cinder, she has her own style. Anybody could admit that. But Salem doesn't even have that, which is not good. That is not a good sign. And, she was very underwhelming. That's never good. Because when the main antagonist, who is led up to be this all-powerful character that can't be beaten, and then just gets mollywopped, and the only thing that makes her better is that she can just outlast people. That's literally the only thing she has going for her over anyone else. She can just outlast everybody, their semblances, as well as their own aura. Their aura breaks, they have nothing left, then she can just kill them. Like, that's all Salem has going for her. That's just a crock of shit. Like, that's pretty bad. That's the only thing she's got going for her, as opposed to, like, she could have had, overwhelming strength, considering that the maiden powers come from the original magic. You would expect that original magic to be overwhelming, but it's not even that. It's like the maiden powers, sadly enough, look even better than what Salem has, which is quite pathetic. Like, at that point, if you were to ask me, I mean, if we were to go back on, like, even Volume 5, Raven and Cinder to me would look stronger than Salem does. That's a pretty sad look, in my opinion. I mean, it looks that way. I'm not saying that the writers would have it be that way, but I'm saying by the way that Salem showed herself off in this fight, that's how it looks. Now, of course, the writers would make some excuse that, she wasn't trying. She knew she didn't have to try. She wouldn't try. Like, they would make that excuse. But, like, realistically, this was extremely underwhelming and quite pathetic for the main villain of the entire series, if you had to ask me. Also, Marrow's an idiot. Clearly. The writers don't understand what a draft is, apparently. Like, that also goes to prove that they understand nothing about war and how war works. Like, oh my lord. Like, that was, like, one of the worst parts also. Like, Marrow just made me really hate him after that. Like, oh my dear god. And the writing, like, that was terrible. Winter, at least, was awesome. Hazel was great. To an extent, of course. I mean, a backstory would have definitely made things better, and if he was not rushed, would have made things better, but he was okay. Like, he gets a pass. He gets a pass. Salem, okay, well, you know what, Salem, alright, you took down Yang and John. Okay, well, you know what, you get your one. Alright, that's acceptable at least. And Yang and John continue to skyrocket on my shit list. They were already at the #1 spot tied with Blake, and they just continue to skyrocket on that shit list. But anyways, let me know what you think about this chapter down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and make sure you were still subscribed, because YouTube is unsubscribing people from all their favorite channels, so make sure you were still subscribed to all your favorite channels. Hit the video with a like, and also be sure to share the video on social media, spread the word, and get it out there. It's greatly appreciated, and it really helps out the channel a lot. Also, be sure to follow me on Discord. We have a wonderful community there. Not only that, but it will keep you up to date on when the newest videos will be released, as well as any other upcoming events in the near future. So be sure to follow me on Discord. Link is in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you. And have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.